What happens when a financial earthquake hits and the aftershocks never stop? The 2008 financial crash wasn't just a blip in the markets, it was a historic collapse that rewrote the destinies of families, businesses, and entire cities. While some places rebounded and rebuilt, others never truly rose from the rubble. Hidden behind glittering skylines and Wall Street rebounds are cities still grappling with joblessness, abandoned neighborhoods, and decaying infrastructure. In this powerful exploration, we uncover the stories of 10 American cities that were hit hardest and never fully recovered. These are not just locations on a map, they're a reflection of forgotten struggles, broken systems, and dreams deferred. Stay with us as we journey through the scars left behind by the crash that changed everything. Number 10. Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham's banking and steel sectors made it vulnerable to the 2008 crash, and the fallout was swift and severe. Financial institutions laid off workers, real estate markets tanked, and the local government struggled to maintain basic services. The city declared bankruptcy and slashed public programs to survive. Even now, many areas remain blighted, and the promised revitalization has only touched select parts of downtown. While developers tout a comeback, large portions of the city remain caught in a cycle of poverty and underdevelopment. Birmingham stands as a reminder that when financial storms strike, those on the margins often bear the longest and hardest suffering. Number 9. Gary, Indiana. Gary was once a booming steel town, but its decline has been long and painful. The 2008 crash poured salt on old wounds, slashing public funding and accelerating job losses. The city now has more vacant buildings than it does open businesses, and many schools have shuttered due to declining enrollment. With a drastically shrinking population and limited investment, Gary's streets often feel frozen in time. While community groups continue to push for change, they face immense challenges from entrenched poverty, limited resources, and a legacy of political mismanagement. For many in Gary, the crash wasn't just a financial event, it was a death blow to an already fading city. Number 8. Youngstown, Ohio. Youngstown's story is one of industrial decline exacerbated by economic disaster. Already a poster child for Rust Belt collapse, the 2008 financial crash intensified an already dire situation. Housing markets bottomed out, job losses became permanent, and the city lost more residents than it could afford. Efforts to right-size the city by demolishing abandoned homes showed how deep the decay had gone. While community leaders have tried to attract tech startups and small businesses, progress is slow and uneven. Youngstown remains a symbol of lost manufacturing glory, now a cautionary tale of what happens when economic shifts go unchecked and recovery never truly arrives. Number 7. Atlantic City, New Jersey. Atlantic City bet big on gambling, but when the recession hit and neighboring states opened competing casinos, the city's economy collapsed. Unemployment soared, and revenue from gambling taxes evaporated. Massive casinos shut down, jobs vanished, and the local government teetered on bankruptcy. Despite state intervention and efforts to diversify the economy, much of the city remains desolate. Empty boardwalk stores, shuttered hotels, and crumbling infrastructure paint a picture of a once thriving tourist destination still unable to regain its footing. The 2008 crash didn't just hurt Atlantic City, it exposed its overdependence on a single, volatile industry. Number 6. Las Vegas, Nevada. Known for its glitz and glamour, Las Vegas was unexpectedly vulnerable when the housing market collapsed. The city's economy, built on tourism and real estate speculation, was devastated when property values nosedived and unemployment skyrocketed. Construction projects were halted mid-build, neighborhoods emptied out, and casinos cut thousands of jobs. Even today, some neighborhoods remain half-occupied, and income inequality runs deep. While tourism has slowly bounced back, the city's reliance on volatile industries leaves it constantly on edge. For many residents, the recovery has been uneven, with wealthier areas rebounding and lower-income families still trapped in financial instability and housing insecurity. Number 5. Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland, once an industrial powerhouse, found itself vulnerable when the 2008 crash hit. The city was already experiencing deindustrialization, and the crash accelerated the exodus of jobs and residents. Entire neighborhoods fell into decline as foreclosures soared and homes were left to rot. The city's east side became a symbol of urban decay, with block after block of abandoned properties and rising crime. While certain downtown areas have seen investment and rejuvenation, the broader city struggles with poverty, educational deficits, and a lack of inclusive growth. Cleveland is a tale of two cities, one that is trying to rise with new investment and another that never truly recovered from the crash that ripped its foundations apart. Number 4. Camden, New Jersey. Across the Delaware River from Philadelphia, Camden has long struggled with poverty and industrial decline. The 2008 crash brought a new wave of challenges, as state and federal support dried up and job opportunities vanished. With a collapsing tax base, the city laid off nearly half its police force, fueling a surge in crime that earned Camden a reputation as one of America's most dangerous cities. Public schools deteriorated, and vacant buildings spread like a virus. Even with the addition of corporate incentives and attempts at redevelopment, most of the economic benefits haven't reached the everyday residents. Camden stands today as a city caught between reinvention and reality, still bruised by the crash and burdened by structural inequality that keeps progress painfully slow. Number 3. Flint, Michigan. Flint's economic woes began before the Great Recession, but the crash made everything worse. With its auto industry long diminished, the city leaned heavily on public programs and real estate development, both of which collapsed during the economic downturn. The result was a financial crisis that left the city vulnerable to desperate cost-cutting decisions, including the infamous water switch that sparked a national health crisis. Abandoned homes multiplied, unemployment surged, and social services became a shadow of what they once were. To this day, Flint remains a symbol of governmental neglect and economic decay. While some residents fight for change, they do so against the weight of a city still buckling under the financial and infrastructural failures triggered by 2008. Number 2. Stockton, California. Stockton, a Central Valley city surrounded by farmland, became ground zero for the housing crisis. Home values plummeted as predatory lending practices and overbuilding collided with mass foreclosures. The crash sent Stockton into a financial tailspin so severe that it became one of the first major U.S. cities to declare bankruptcy after 2008. Streets once filled with new construction projects turned into ghost zones, and services like policing, parks, and libraries were slashed to survive. The city made headlines for its desperation, symbolizing how far a middle-class dream could fall. Even years later, the scars remain. While some revitalization efforts have helped parts of downtown, many neighborhoods are still dealing with crime, poverty, and a lack of stable investment. Stockton's slow path to recovery shows how deeply a crash can wound a city when there are no strong foundations to begin with. Number 1. Detroit, Michigan. Detroit became the face of urban collapse long before the 2008 crash, but that economic disaster sealed its fate in new ways. Once the proud heart of the American auto industry, the Motor City faced the brutal combination of manufacturing decline, home foreclosures, and financial mismanagement. When the housing bubble burst, Detroit's already fragile economy shattered further. The collapse of credit markets dried up business capital, the job market withered, and property values fell into free fall. The city filed for the largest municipal bankruptcy in U.S. history in 2013, but even that drastic move couldn't erase the damage already done. Schools closed, entire blocks were abandoned, and residents fled in droves. Although some signs of life have emerged in small, gentrified corners, vast parts of Detroit remain stuck in limbo, caught between a troubled past and an uncertain future. For many who lived through the crash, the recovery they were promised never arrived. These 10 cities tell a story most people never hear, the tale of communities that didn't bounce back, that were left behind while others moved on. The crash of 2008 wasn't just about markets and banks, it was about lives, families, and cities whose dreams were shattered. As America looks forward, it's vital we don't forget these places. Real recovery means making sure no community is permanently sidelined. If their stories moved you, hit that like button, subscribe for more powerful insights, and share this video to remind others that recovery should never leave anyone behind.